Hello, everybody, and welcome to another informational interview with ALHomecare. My name is Eileen Corbett. I'm the Assistant General Manager in ALHomecare. And today we're going to talk to Fiona Conroy from Citizens Information, and she's going to be discussing the various types of grants and information that's out there for older people in particular. So thank you very much for joining me today, Fiona.
Not at all. Very nice to be here.
So, Fiona, I think everybody would have some kind of, knowledge of citizens' information. I mean, if you type a question into Google, if you're looking for something, usually the first site that's going to come up is Citizens Information, and it's a trusted site for people in Ireland. So can you tell me what your role is in Citizens Information?
Yes, I am currently the manager of Dublin City Centre, Citizens Information, and I've worked for the service now in various different roles for 19 years now, May just gone. So plenty of, I suppose, exposure to the public and, calls, advocacy, information provision, and now managing.
So, can you tell me how long Citizens Information has been in operation in Ireland?
The Citizens Information originally was set up in the 70s, okay, by mainly older people who volunteered. So they had gotten to a stage in their lives where, for various different reasons, family, all sorts of issues were coming up, and there was such a wealth of information that wasn't, readily available in one place that they decided that this would be a great opportunity to have almost like, I won't say one-stop shop, but one place to go to get this information and to get help. So it was purely based on a voluntary basis, but naturally enough, things become more complex over time. More and more people need help, and then it became more streamlined, and then funding was put into it. So we are funded by the social welfare, and most of our queries, funny enough, are social welfare, and it's mainly because a lot of people would rely on social welfare, whether it's for while they're between jobs or while they're raising family, or when they retire and they need access to their pension and any other payments from social welfare. But we don't just do social welfare. We also cover basically anything and everything. The only thing we don't get involved in is anything that's very legal. But on the other hand, we would do things like employment law. We do advocacy, where if somebody can't do it themselves, or they're not sure, or they need help, or it's emotional, then they can step in and have somebody represent them.
Okay, so
So
isn't
it's
that,
going now 50 years.
yeah, yeah, and it's just typical that it is the older person in our community or the older people in our community that thought that this was an important issue to address, to have kind of information under one umbrella, that people can access. But it is our older generation that step up to the mark, um, as usual. So
Exactly.
fair play to them. And it's great now that, they can get the benefit from this, later in life as well. So can you tell me what kind of, I suppose, grants or assistance that there is out there for our older people?
So there's a few. Our main query from older people would be um, pensions. So a lot of pension queries, improvements to the home, help with the cost of fuel. So I suppose our main ones would be the widows contributory and non-contributory pensions. So we start with those ones first. So there's those. Then it's the state pension contributory, where people would have paid into the social welfare system all their lives, or a lot of their lives, and would end up with a pension that is not means tested. And then you have some people who wouldn't have enough contributions paid, so then they can get the state pension non-contributory, which would be means tested. So they're the core payments usually. And then after that, it would be things like fuel allowance, where you may qualify for contribution towards the cost of your fuel. That's the household benefits package. We get a lot of queries about how can I, like, who can help me with my electricity bill or my gas bill. So that would be the household benefits package. It's €35 per month towards electricity or gas. It's a free TV license, and then there's a very small amount towards a telephone grant as well. Then apart from those kind of things, there are things like the Fair Deal scheme for people who may be independent living but considering going into a nursing home. There's also, and I've had a few here, there's the medical card. If you're under 70, then it would be means tested. If you're over 70, you're means tested on the full medical card. However, the GP visit card, you would qualify for that automatically. There's no means test applicable to that one. In relation to grants, there is the housing adaptation grant for older people. And basically what that does is, like, if you need like stair rails put in, or you need something done, like for example, you've got space downstairs, you might need a bathroom downstairs, you might need your bedroom downstairs. All of these adaptations can be done, and we always recommend people kind of come in through us if they're not sure. We can download the forms, we can help them fill in those forms if they're not, sure about how to get somebody to come in and do these works for them. We'll go through the process with people. And that doesn't mean that you have to come into the office itself. It can be done over the phone. So we're quite accessible to people. We don't, however, go out to people's homes, unfortunately, not yet. We don't have enough resources for that. But we find that over the phone is fine. And then there is the SEAI grants, okay, and there's two different types. One would be just for, like, if you've got fuel allowance, for example, then you'd qualify to have all of your light bulbs replaced with energy light bulbs. Low energy, I should say, low cost energy light bulbs, lagging jackets, and various kind of like basic things around the home. The other one is for, like, let me see, things like replacing your controls for your heating, or if you need a grant to replace something, or some people get the house wrapped because it's quite drafty. The housing adaptation grant, you may need a new door, you may need to replace windows. They're the type of things that they deal with. So they're kind of the main ones that we would see people coming in when they're kind of getting into over 65, because their houses will be older. There wouldn't be the same wages coming in to keep up the maintenance in the house. And then there's Age Action Ireland. They're very good because they will come out and go around people's homes to do a little bit of lighthouse work and like kind of maintenance, cutting the grass, painting, things like that. And that would be a free service. And then there's also Sage Advocacy, like for people who, because they'll call out to the person's home and help them with various different things. Could be an argument around like a will or a property, or you might have handed stuff over to one of your children, and then it's not working out. So, or they might want you to go into a nursing home, but you might want to stay home with carers. So they would kind of focus on those kind of things. So they would be the main queries, I would say, that we get into our service. And we don't turn anyone away. We'll do the best we can to try and help people to decide for themselves what they want to do and apply for whatever they want. If we can see that they're not going to get whatever it is, then to minimize the stress for those people, we'll tell them. We don't get them to just fill in the form and say, sure, try it. We try to minimize the stress for people as much as we can.
Okay. And do you think that that people are aware of all of these grants and different schemes that are available to them? Do you think that it's widely known?
I don't, mainly because anytime anybody does come into us, they say, well, my neighbour was telling me about this and I'm not 100% sure. or one of the public health nurses might have said, well, you know, you can get this and get that, but they don't know how to do it, even if they've been given the form. A lot of people would be quite nervous of forms because they're putting their own details down on these forms. And I think a lot of the time what we would see is they're a little bit anxious about, are they putting enough information on? Or sometimes are they asking me for too much, particularly when it comes for means testing and things like that? Have they a right to ask us for this kind of thing? We would be explaining that if you want something that's funded by the government, they need to see that you actually need it. So the only way they can do that is to do a means test. So I suppose we provide support to people, but and when they come in here, we would go through anything and everything. We'd look at their overall situation and ask people, are you getting this? Are you getting that? We'd have a look and see, you know, you might be entitled to this. This is how you do that. We go through the whole process with them so that they feel secure and confident in the
Yeah.
information that they have received, because everybody's situation is different. So your neighbour up the road could have gotten something, but it could be that there was an actual disability there and they got that because their income was below a certain rate. Their particular income could be over the rate, but still might be under enough on medical grounds. So there's varying different situations where people will qualify for things, you know. So while it's great that the neighbours share the information, that's brilliant. I suppose just to know that they can come in to citizens information to get clarification and to see where they would fit in. But would I say they all know? No, a lot of people don't know. And actually, sometimes we're quite surprised where, and I have to say, older people in general are great for finding things out. We did the 50s plus show there in the RDS there a while ago, couple of months ago, and they were great. I know about this, but I need to know, is there something else to go with that? So they're great at finding out once they know where to go to find out.
Yes.
But would they automatically know? Not necessarily, unless we would do some sort of a radio show or something like that and put it out there, you know. Now, some information officers do actually do radio presentations, but yeah, I wouldn't say people just kind of know, you know.
Yeah.
It's usually word of mouth.
Well, it's great that you do give out this information to people freely and, you know, let them know what their full entitlements are. Because I think it's very important, especially after, you know, working, contributing to society all your life, you know, it's good just to get those little things back, you know. So Fiona,
It really is, and it's because of them we're here.
yeah, exactly. So when a person phones up citizens information, what type of person is answering the call and what would be their, I suppose, qualifications um in giving out and offering this advice?
So when you ring into citizens information, there's an information officer on the other end of the phone. So those information officers would be information officers who see people face to face. So what we do is they have certain tasks on the rota on a daily basis. So they'd be qualified information officers who would be seeing people who come into our drop-in. And then in the afternoon, if we're closed, they could be working in advocacy, they could be doing callbacks, so they'll be very experienced. And usually what happens is they'll try and help the person over the phone there and then. If it's something very complex, they'll keep the number and then tell the person, look, we'll go and find out a bit more information for you, and then we'll ring you back. If it's something that they discover that they could actually help the person out with, then they can be offered to either A, come in for the drop-in service the following day, or they can be given an appointment. If the person needs more information but can't wait for the call back, then we'll give them our email. And if they're able to email us in, that's great. We can respond with the email and send on the information that way. So there's, I suppose, a couple of ways that people can talk to us, and that's the phone, coming in, an appointment, or email. So, and then we also have the phone service. phone service is open till 8 o'clock. So if you're off gallivanting during the day and you don't get back on time, or you know, you don't make it back by 5 o'clock, you still have up till 8 o'clock to give us a call. Now you can't ever go in to see those, but often what they'll do is say, look, your local office is, and their opening hours are, and if you want to drop in, we always say early because it gets quite busy, you know. But yeah, they'd be qualified information officers on the phone.
Okay, very good. And Fiona, my final question for you, could you just remind us of where people can find out more information?
So, well, we have a very good website. It's very, very thorough. It's because we're funded by the government. It is kept updated all of the time. So, and also the language in it is quite easy to understand. It's not loaded with very kind of, you know, definitions and legal sort of jargon. They try to keep it as easy to understand, which benefits us too because we're giving out the information. So we need to make sure that people understand what we're saying. So our number one place I would say is the Citizens Information website. And the other way is by phone or by email into any of your local offices, you know. Those emails are taken in and one of the information, they're distributed to the information officers, and then they will respond. You could email in and say, could you call me back? That's fine. You could do that as well. Or you can give us a ring, or you could ring on our international citizens, sorry, not our international, our national information number. So it's pretty accessible up to 8 o'clock, 5 days a week. And then if you, a lot of people would email us on a Sunday, would you believe? And then they get a response on a Monday or Tuesday. So it's usually within 48 hours.
Perfect. That's great. Well, thank you so much for all of that information. It's a lot to digest. I hope people got some good advice and information on entitlements for themselves or for a loved one, you know, during this interview. So thank you very much, Fiona.
Not at all, and thanks so much for having us.
So that's it, everybody. I'd just like to ask you to like and share this video and like and share our Facebook page as well. So see you next time.